Absolutely. Let's go. Hey, honestly, we're gonna talk about something today that I think most real estate investors don't know. And I've been in this space for about 2 years in this real estate space, and there's like multiple levels that you can actually make money. If you guys don't know, my name is Marketing with Dom, and I actually help people make money with real estate and actually doing marketing, right? So as of now, I've been marketing in this certain niche in real estate for about 2 years, and I'm like, yo, absolutely, I got to get involved, right? I was like, I gotta get involved, okay? And so in this whole process, I've decided to adjust my whole situation. So if you were actually watching this video, make sure you comment down below and you jump. But if you've been trying to figure out a way to actually make real passive income and you're trying to invest in real estate, but you're not trying to do like wholesale or rentals and stuff like that, all the troubles that come with that, we're actually gonna talk about this today. Let's go. Um, let's go. I'm gonna adjust this over here like this for me. We're gonna do it this way. So basically, I've been marketing in this space for about 2 years in the note investment space. And one of the biggest outcomes and like one of the hardest things to do is to actually get the understanding of what note investing is and like how is it even possible. Right. So talking to people all the time, the biggest thing you realize is like how is it actually possible to invest money and to make money like that when you're actually doing it. And right now I'm testing all sort of AI marketing stuff right now. Um, and this live stream is actually a test that I'm doing for the marketing space in the real estate space, but I'm actually wanting to talk about this note investment space, period. Okay. So I like it. It actually comes out and puts it on the form. So right now I'm testing it. I'm looking at a couple different things, looking at how it's showing up on Facebook, looking at how it's showing up on YouTube, looking at how it like actually promotes the video as well. But I wanted to talk about something because note investing is a very interesting space and most people don't know about it. They don't understand it, they don't know about it. And today we're going to talk about why it actually brings real passive income to you and how people are using it to make a bunch of money. I've been watching my mentors destroy the industry, right? I was watching Desi Arnaz and Patrick Franz just absolutely take over the industry. And I wanted to actually just kind of give an example of what investing in mortgage notes is. Right, like I'm gonna just give a quick example. Let me share this screen real quick. Let me share the screen. All right, so we're gonna share the screen. Yeah, let's share the entire screen. So basically, I wanted to make sure I popped in here and give you guys, give you a example of what note investing is, right? So when people buy houses and they do flicks and flips, right? They have to do all that energy immediately. There's so many pieces to it as well. But you have to be so much more involved in the actual real estate space. And then once you finally do it, it's never passive. If you get a rental, it's not as passive as you think it is. Any problem that ever happens, you have to deal with those problems in a renter. That's a lot. So we're gonna click on this one. I actually took these and had AI create these examples for you so that I could show you the example. Okay. So the first thing is a performing purchasing note, right? I'm practicing every day on this. Is like, so the way it happens is that you could actually purchase a note, a mortgage note. People are like, you virgin origin note, right? People always try to buy real estate. So if you're trying to get into the real estate space, this is an example that we're going to go through of how you make money in the space as a note investor, right? What we're doing, what I've been helping doing. And honestly, what I've been seeing people just take and change their whole game with, right? So there's two different kinds of notes, but we're going to talk about a performing note as an example. I'm just getting into examples because I like going over examples of what it actually means. So basically, you're able to purchase mortgage notes in an industry, whether it's from a bank or for an individual person who owns it. And the way that you end up making capital is like people always wonder, well, how do you make money if you buy a mortgage note if you don't buy the actual house? So let's see, if you're performing notes, there's $300,000 in the value of the actual property. And then there's only $150,000 left on the mortgage note. So immediately what you're going to try to do, which is what Desi and the Note Investor University teaches, is how to get yourself in position to buy the note at a discount. So let's say you actually purchased the note at 120,000. So we purchased the note at 120,000. Oh, we can do this. Let's do this. Let's throw it in a presentation style. So let's say you get it at 150, you get it at 120,000, right? So basically what's happening after that is the borrower is going to continuously make the person who owns the home, the homeowner, right? Because you're now the bank, is going to continuously paying their regular payment, and you are going to assume whatever that interest is on that loan. So imagine if there's already 5% on that loan, you're going to be receiving that 5% interest over that, right? Now over that term, and collecting that amount of money to be able to do that, collecting that money. Now, so it's telling you over the amount of time of what you're going to collect in that balance over the 5% interest is you're going to collect 140, right? And your initial was 120, you're going to make $24,000 over that amount of time, the 5%. So what happens if the loan gets paid off early, something happens and you just get the immediate payment off right then and there? You can actually make $30,000 profit because they're immediately going to pay off a little bit more. So now, notes on equity impact though, right? So increasing, so the very first thing you have to understand is that when you buy the property at a discount, you're automatically getting that note equity right then and there, right? That profit margin that is existing in that margin of whatever you're buying the discount for, based off what is owed and how much you're purchasing it for. What are you going to make on that? Okay. So now the other thing is that they have is a non-performing note. Now, with the non-performing notes, you actually have to do a little bit more work. You have to do either, get the person to start paying the note, foreclose on the house. You have to do those things. But people do sell them so they don't have to just deal with that process because their business model isn't, set up for that. So you can actually buy it at a more of a discount and then actually do the back end stuff to make sure that you're doing it. And that's where either you're an investor, you know what you're doing, you either learn the process, or you partner up with someone who knows exactly what they're doing in the note space. Right. That's how it kind of goes. So when I got into this note space and I started to learn more and more, I was like, okay, you really do have to make sure you do your due diligence in the process, but you can really come out on top if you work the process, and more in paperwork style than if you're going out there checking out the houses, rebuilding and needing a contractor, right? Or if you're renting out homes and you have to deal with all the problems that come with actually renting the home to people, right? When something breaks down, or any of those things that actually happen to you when you actually have a home that you rent. I like this. I don't know what happens. It's passive income, no investing. Right here, I might have got to fix that too. Um, so the biggest thing for me is this learning process of what is note investing and how do you take it to the next level. Now, so for most, let's actually show. There's all sorts of things I could show you in here. I actually do marketing for in the note space. So my biggest thing in learning this process was watching people get rich over the last 2 years. And I don't even say, let's not say rich. Let's say financial freedom more than rich, right? We're going to say financial freedom more than rich. And the reason why I'll say that is because what they're able to do over time is completely continuously stack mortgage notes that they're purchasing, right? So we're just looking at this profit that happens here, right? So imagine if, right, the initial money that you come into, you want to become a note investor. You step into the note investment space and you're borrowing this money. And every single time that you end up getting the notes or you acquire a note in the note space, you're getting $805,000 a month, right? So you're making money continuously. So every time you make an investment, your cash flow is immediately coming back to you because you're now the bank and you're no longer the homeowner. So there's no opportunity for you don't have leverage if someone doesn't pay the rental situations, but you are now the bank. You get to play a bigger game. So it's like people play the game at the renter's game, they play the equity game and that stuff. But if you're really just wanting your money to work for you and you to actually cash flow, the simplest way to be able to cash flow is to be able to make passive income by actually buying the note rather than buying the property. The reason why, buying an actual property isn't as simple in the cash flow as people want it to be is mostly because if something goes wrong with the house or something, that happens, it's your responsibility. Right. So it's your responsibility if something goes wrong in the house, if you're renting it and stuff like that. But when you're actually the person who's buying the notes and you're investing in that, you're going to get your money back over time. And you don't really have to worry about what happens to the house unless, it burns down or something. So make sure you have insurance on your assets. That's what it works down on that side. So yeah, man, honestly, just going into this note industry has been quite interesting for me, and seeing how much you can actually make by changing the way you invest in the same assets. And one of the mentors I was talking to said, let's see, I think I have these random other things over here that we have talked about, like what is a note. That's actually a freaking great presentation built by Desi. Really, really simple in the cost and processes. So simply, like, what is a note? People ask. It's the note, the piece of paper that says, "Hey, I owe you, and if I don't pay you this much money, you get this, or like you get the home." That's what a mortgage note is. It's like, okay, well, you get the home. So now, oh, I think it's frozen. I don't know. We'll see. So now the biggest thing that I'm learning is that you just need to go out there and make things happen. And if you don't know about mortgage notes, because I've realized most people have no idea about mortgage notes. I was at an event the other day, and it was a bunch of real estate people, and I'm talking about mortgage notes. They're talking about real estate and properties and apartments and doors. And I was one of the only people who had the comprehension of, I don't say not comprehension, or maybe just knew or ran into the actual process of investing in mortgage notes rather than investing into the property. So that's a question you get to ask yourself all the time: is what is a mortgage note? Oh, name style can change on here too. So my thing is, for this podcast that I'm going to be creating for passive real estate no investing, is really just teaching people that there's this niche out here that no one knows exists. And when people are investing into I'm watching people that I'm marketing for the Note University invest, 6, 7 of their properties into mortgage notes, just because they realized how much easier it is to maintain and make sure the money is coming in monthly when you're on mortgage notes rather than when you actually own a property. Right? Because you're dealing with all the insides and outs. And guess what? When you actually own a property, the first person you always pay is the bank. So that's the thing that everyone has to understand, is that when you're in mortgage notes in the business, and even when you're not in mortgage notes and you're renting property, everyone's trying the equity game, yes, and owning the asset. But those assets can jump up and down drastically. But when you have notes, that doesn't jump with the market. So if you're buying let's say if you're buying a $150,000 note, right? And the house drops value, usually you want to make sure that the ratio of the note that you're buying is, like, even if this dropped $100,000. Like, imagine if you're the note investor, right? The economy drops, the house on the value drops drastically, and then now you're sitting here, and this is only $200,000, there's a $50,000 gap. The reality is you still have a $50,000 profit in your asset. When that person who purchased the house, who's going to be spending over $300,000 originally, may not still have the value in their house, because they would have spent over $300,000 over a certain amount of time because of their property that possibly that was on the loan, and now the value is going up. Now they're going to deal with the equity and things, and guess what? If they refi, or they want to make some more money and get another loan from somebody, then guess what? Then they could refi and you get your money back, and they get it from another loan person, or they could get another loan from you. You could grow the note. That could actually work too. I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite excited for the fact that I'm really just here running through the process of getting over that little hump you get when you're trying something new, when you're trying to jump into something else, or you're trying to understand something and you're too afraid to get on the internet and talk to people about it. I think that's a huge thing. I think I have that problem all the time too, as well, even as a content creator. And now I'm a coach coaching people how to be content creators, is now I have to just start running over those situations to really talk about what it means to help people invest in mortgage notes. Because imagine, there's so many people in the world right now. You could either build a business in this note space where you're like, y'all want to figure out how to make this money, or you could also invest, becoming a pure note investor because you have properties and stuff already. Right. So that's really the power of what people are coming from. The position is like how much they have to manage their properties and do this and deal with tenants and all that. Sometimes people think it's going to be very passive, but it ends up not being passive at all. On this part of time, you're actually the person who's holding the note to the person who's buying it, right? So if you're buying a property and you're paying to the bank, right, and something happens to the house, you still have to make sure you shell out cash, and then you still make sure you have to pay the bank their mortgage note for you to be able to keep the house. So imagine if you were making money like the bank and you knew that no matter what happened, no matter what was going on in the investment place, you as the bank were going to receive the income. That's where it gets crazy. So that is so yeah, basically in the bio there's actually a link you can join the free community that they're going to be building out talking about mortgage loan investing. I'm going to be creating shooting so many more episodes. I think I'm going to try to just do it every day, because at the end of the day it's just a reminder of information, and coming from so many different places of what this can do for you is what it's really about. But I wanted to come on here, test the software, test how it works when you actually get to post it across the platforms and go live on multiple platforms. I got a chance to go live today on YouTube. If you're following me to learn more about this stuff, or follow me on Facebook, one of the two. I know that most people are going to see me in this new space, and it's always kind of like you always realize it's the people who don't know you at all who really invest the most in. So most people aren't going to sit here and watch this whole live video to talk about mortgage notes with me and finish out. If you do, comment down below and say hi. I appreciate you guys for your time watching, and I'm going to see you on the next one.